Hi and welcome. I'm very excited to bring you a brand new series of videos at livelinkttraining.com. My name is Ken Fisher. In this series of videos we're going to take a journey from zero to hero. We're starting from the basics and we'll build up your knowledge and skills of this awesome photo editing software to the point where you achieve inner peace, tranquility, become one with Lightroom and transcend the human body to become a Lightroom ninja. Well, maybe not the transcending bit because of health and safety restrictions. So, a quick introduction. This is me. I'm a photographer, a qualified teacher and an Adobe certified trainer in Photoshop and in Lightroom. So, without further ado, let's get going. Now there are 3 core skills you'll be learning for you to get the most out of Lightroom. And these are, number 1, get it in, which is obvious. Number 2, we need to fettle it once we've got it in. And number 3, once we've got it in and we've fettled it, we need to get it out. Now if you don't happen to be from Barnsley, I've just got a little bit here that what I'm talking about is we need to import the images, we need to develop the images, and we need to output the images as prints, slideshows, web galleries, whatever. Now common questions asked about Lightroom is what is it? And where does it fit? Is it to replace something like Photoshop? Was it to replace Bridge? Is it to be fitted in between those two? When it first came out, nobody really knew what it was and how to get the best out of it. So what is it? Well, it's a really phenomenal processing engine. It contains, as its heart, camera raw. But more than that, it's been designed as a workflow tool. Now, okay, what's workflow? What's that all about? Well, for us as photographers, it can be really important. Now, a little example, let's say we're going to wash our car. So we'll need a sponge. And we'll probably need a tap with some water. And we'll need a bucket to carry the water about in. And we'll need a bit of wash and wax. And we could need a chamois leather. Now all of these take different little skill sets. You may be really good with turning the tap on, but you may not be able to carry the bucket around. And you may be really good at using the chamois leather, but can you get the top off that wash and go? No, you can't. And to a certain extent, this is how it used to be. I remember this. You used to have 4 or 5 different pieces of software for doing different things. None of them spoke to each other. All the interfaces looked different. So you had to develop a lot of individual skill sets. Well, Lightroom has been designed more on like a car wash. So you come in at one end, you put your money in, and you comes out at the other end with an output. In this case, a clean car. In our case, an output could be a print, it could be a slideshow, it could be a web gallery. So at its heart, it's been designed as a modular system. So in the centre we've got a really phenomenal image editor. It's the heart of Camera Raw. But it's also, because of the cataloguing system, it's a really powerful database as well. Now because it's modular, what they've done is basically brought all the similar things together. So we have a library module, and it's in the library module that we do all the things like importing and cataloguing. So all the like functions have been brought together. Once we've catalogued, we've put all those keywords in, done all that good stuff, then we've got the develop module. And the develop module is where we're using Camera Raw. We can correct the images and improve the images. Now once we've developed them, we want some kind of output. And an output that I find particularly useful now is the map module. And this is a collaboration with Google Maps, where you can actually place your images on Google Maps anywhere in the world. So you've got like a cataloguing system on a world map. we've got the book module. And as a photographer, yeah, I do need to make books. I do weddings, and it's something that I can do now straight from inside Lightroom. The slideshow. Again, it's something that once I've got all these wonderful images, I want to show people. And I want to show my clients. So I can very quickly build up some quite nice slideshows to show people. And I can export them as a movie file, so I can put them on the internet or email them. We've got the print module. I've got lots of templates for creating quite complicated prints, and then all I do is save it out as a user template, and it's there. All I need to do the next wedding I do, for instance, I just drag and drop the images into it. And then we've got a web module, where from within Lightroom we can create some little web galleries and upload straight to a server straight from within Lightroom. Now if we look at what we would class as classical workflow. Now classical workflow is that you would use something like Bridge for previewing and doing your cataloguing. And then Bridge would pass it through, if it's a RAW file, to Adobe Camera Raw. Or if it's a JPEG, it would pass it straight through, if you wanted to say Photoshop. And in Photoshop you would do some editing, and you would do your output, and you would save it as a file. Now this is a linear process. It basically, you start at one end and you come out at the other end. But there isn't a connection. You end up saving the same file, just like a black and white file or a sepia file. So you end up with multiple files. Now Lightroom works differently. It's basically got everything and more that Bridge has. And it has at its heart the Adobe Camera Raw. But it also, because of its really efficient cataloguing system, it gives us a phenomenal database. Now if you've got 100 pictures, then your cataloguing system can be a shoebox, a biro and a piece of paper. If you've got 100,000 images, you really need something a little bit more robust to be able to find those images. Now Lightroom works more in a circular workflow. So Lightroom, you can do basically, well, you can do probably, I'd say, a good 95% of what us photographers need to do. We can preview, we can catalogue, we can do adjustments, slideshows, printing, yada yada yada, the list goes on. We can do it all in Lightroom. The things that Lightroom can't do now, we use Photoshop as a plugin. So basically anything we want that Lightroom doesn't do, we tell Lightroom to send it to Photoshop, and then Photoshop is now used as a plugin. We don't open Photoshop separately, we get Lightroom to do it for us. And then in Photoshop we can add layers, type, masking, smart objects, a whole host of things that Photoshop does very well. But then the cute thing is that Photoshop sends the image back to Lightroom again. So you've got a circular workflow where you never lose anything. Now the catalogue system. Okay, what is the catalogue system? Well, in Bridge and Lightroom, they are slightly different. In Bridge, we see all the files that are in any folders that we've got on the computer. In Lightroom, we only see the files that are actually in the Lightroom catalogue. Okay, so what's a catalogue all about? Well, let's imagine that we've been given a library of books, and the librarian's done a bunk and she's took all the information with her. So what we're going to do? Well, we're going to go to the shelf and we're going to pick the first book off, and we're going to run down the shops and we're going to buy some little drawers, and we're going to buy some cards. And there we are, we've got a little library card. And then on this card we're going to put some information about the book. So let's just do that. Here we've got his library card. So we'll probably put the author name in. That's a good way of being able to find this book on the shelf. We might put the book title. That's another good one. We might put the ISBN number and the location. Very important. What shelf is it on? Where is it? And then as a belt and braces, what we could do, we could take basically a photograph of the front cover and stick that on this card here. And then we put the book back on the shelf. Now, how does that relate to the computer? Well, it's a really parallel system. We've got a computer, and on it we've got an image. Now, the computer knows where that image is. It's given it an address or a location. Now, we load Lightroom up onto the computer, and initially Lightroom can't see the image. It doesn't know because there hasn't been a catalogue entry made for it yet. So what do? Well, Lightroom goes and makes a virtual catalogue for it, just like with the books. And it writes down things like the file name and any keywords, any metadata, and of course the location. Where is this image on the computer? And then it takes a photograph, which it calls a thumbnail, of the actual image itself. Now, the catalogue versus Photoshop. Well, in Photoshop, what we would do, we would have an image. And then if we wanted to do a different treatment of that image, we could create a black and white image. And then say we'll create a sepia tone image. And if each of these is, say, 30 megabytes, then we've now got 90 megabytes of information. Well, Lightroom works differently. Lightroom doesn't work that way. We've got the same thing. We've got a camera and we create an image, and then we get that by hook or by crook onto the computer. But now things change. What happens is we open Lightroom, and again, like we said before, Lightroom can't see. It says, no, I don't see any image. So what we've got to tell Lightroom to do is to create a catalogue entry. And what this is doing is, as we did before, it puts all the metadata, the camera information, location information, and a thumbnail into the catalogue. And the last thing it does is it fastens a piece of virtual string between the thumbnail and the image that's on the computer, because that never gets changed. And then when you look at Lightroom, you're looking at the thumbnail. You're not looking at the original image, you're looking at the thumbnail image that's been generated. Now, the great thing about this is, if you work with Lightroom and you let Lightroom move your images, you can move the images, say, onto an external drive. It doesn't matter where they are. But so long as Lightroom's done it, then Lightroom will keep that string attached. So Lightroom will always know where that image is. Now we come along and we say, well, we want to do something different to this image. So we'll click, or we'll move a slider, but in this case we'll click on the black and white button. Now what this will do is put an instruction into metadata that says make it black and white. It does nothing to the original image, but the preview that we see now is black and white. Now, another great thing is that we can have multiple sets of metadata, so we can do different treatments on an image, and all we've got is 2 different catalogue entries. So we can have one catalogue entry saying make this sepia, and another one saying make this black and white, and these are both tied to the same image. So we don't need 2 images to do this, we only need our original image that sits on the computer. Now, where things start to break down sometimes is if you dabble in Photoshop or on Explorer or your Finder, and if you decide to rename or delete something or just move something, then when you open Lightroom again, it doesn't know where it is, because in effect what you've done is cut that piece of string. So it's really important that if you use Lightroom, you use Lightroom for moving images, creating folders, deleting folders. If you do it in Lightroom, then Lightroom will keep it under control for you, and it knows where everything is. And this is the heart of non-destructive editing. So here we've got the image, it's on the computer, and we've got some metadata, and we click the black and white button. It puts an an instruction into the metadata saying convert to black and white, and the image gets converted to black and white. But it's the image of the thumbnail, not the image on the computer. And this is a catalogue entry. It's text. And this is why you've basically got infinite history in Lightroom, because all we're saving is the text. Every time you move a slider, it gets written as text, as metadata into this catalogue file. But it's text, so it takes bytes to save rather than megabytes and gigabytes of images. And how do we make a catalogue entry? Well, we click the import button. And that's where the fun begins. Okay, so let's have a quick little recap. Lightroom itself is a workflow tool. It's been designed for efficiency to make our jobs as photographers a doddle. It's a modular system that's based on a phenomenal image editor and a database, and it has lots of modules, each one of these that we as a photographer will find invaluable when you start using Lightroom. Well, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next videos we'll be delving deeper into showing you all you need to know about this amazing software, step by step. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments underneath the video. If you liked the video, please share it with a friend and click the subscribe button so when I upload a new video you are the first to know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.